All right, this is Frank. This is my 97 S500. It's been a hell of a project so far. I've had it for 3 years now, maybe a little over 3 years, and stocked up a bunch of parts to fix it up, and finally got around to working on it. I've never had a car like this before, but it kind of found me. I wasn't searching for it so much as it was kind of looking for me, I guess. So I just put an oil change on it, put some plugs in it. I got the transmission pan off of it, putting a new filter and flushing fluid, flushing out the rear differential. It's got all kinds of little odds and ends that it needs. I've been, like I said, stacking up parts for a couple, 2 or 3 years, just eBaying and kind of trying to find all the stuff I can find. A little bit of Mercedes parts, auto house down in Arizona that has a bunch of Mercedes stuff. I don't know if you can hear that running in the back, but I bought a new battery charger. Let me get you guys some light. The more I light it up, the worse it looks, so get ready. Yeah, bought one of these from the Harbor Freight the other day. Put a new battery in the back of it. Got a new diehard. It's an AGM. I haven't used one of those before, so I don't exactly know how it's gonna work out, but you see a little bit of the inside. I know you can't see everything, but a lot of it's torn apart. It's actually going back together instead of coming apart. I've replaced the window regulators up front. Somebody had gotten into the dash and messed around, and I just took the cluster out of there and put all new bulbs in it and made sure that it was okay. And it needs a sunroof to be pulled out of it. I know I need to put a motor in it, but I'm going to clean up all of the tracks and stuff like that, so when I go back together it should work okay. I don't know if you can see anything under here. I got transmission pan off of it, putting a new filter in it. Just did an oil change on it yesterday. It had super old oil filter, pretty old oil. Took the filter out of it. I don't know if you can see what kind it is, but it's unbranded, but it's got a name that sources to like Amazon, or I don't know, I can't really tell. It doesn't really say. It's just that one of them unbranded ones. So all the stuff that I buy for this thing is, what do I got? Hingst and Man and Graph and the stuff that's supposed to be in there. I think it's gonna be a pretty sweet ride when I'm done with it. Got kind of quite a ways to go. I put new accumulators in the back. Also had a broken shock, so I put one of the shocks in it, got underneath it, and it's got the little trigger back there for raising it up and down, and you can unhook it and kind of manually do it to bleed the system. So I did that, and the butt is no longer squatty. It popped up and came up, sucked a bunch of fluid down out of the reservoir over here. It's underneath this cover here, and it seemed to come back around. It's not leaking or doing anything weird. I mean, it runs and idles amazing. A transmission, everything worked before, but I just like to change that kind of stuff. I've had I've done this to Benzes before. I've done it to all my cars, but you know, there's the fable or the myth or the tale that you're never supposed to change transmission fluid. Like, I always change transmission fluid. I do it about every 50,000 miles on everything. And I've got 2 Chevys over here, automatic transmissions. This got an automatic transmission. Another car sitting out in the driveway. I've done it to all of them, and they immediately got better as soon as I did it. The only time I would advise against it is if you pull the plug or pull the pan and it's full of stuff, and there's just a bunch of metal and clutch material down in there. That's kind of when I would say, if it still works, leave it alone and start shopping for a rebuild or another transmission. But if the fluid's just dirty like this was, I don't have maybe I do. Underneath this filter might have some color. There's the color. It's turning brown, so it's not red anymore. I don't know if this got any more that wants to come out of it, but yeah. You can see it. It's still got some red to it. It's got some viscosity to it. It's got some dirt in it. But this old girl needed it. She got a bunch of miles, but when I brought it home, it ran like a top. And I've always wanted one of these cars. Of course, the way I get them is cheap and screwed up. A lot of, there's, you know, they just need just about everything. All the parts are all here, so everything just needs to be kind of cleaned up, tweaked up a little bit. Somebody play with it. It's got stitches down here on the bottom where somebody bumped a curb and repaired it the cheap way, but as Derek says, it looks like something that I've worked on before, so I don't like them when they're all nice and perfect. This one's pretty close. You know, it's dirty because it's been in here getting worked on, but I mean, everything, all the stuff in here works. Watch it prove me wrong, but I just went through and redid all these doors. The little air suckers suck them shut. So air powered on the doors, air powered on the locks, air powered on the trunk. All that stuff works. I bought a wheel for it because these are the wheels that I want to put on it, the monoblocks. I like them quite a bit, and I'd like to see a set of them on there. I don't know if you can tell by looking just down the side of it what it looks like, but it's pretty straight. I've done a little bit of body work to it. The guy that had it before me put the little chrome, the little what do you call them, the little fender lips or whatever was on them, and they had a couple of screws that go up in there, and it was, you know, of course, like people do, ran it through with some sheet metal screws, and over the years it took off and it got a little surface rust, so I've kind of cleaned that up. It definitely needs all the fenders to be painted to get to how I want it, and the bottom moldings need to be painted, the rocker covers need to be painted, the hood needs to be painted. I broke the windshield getting the windshield wiper assembly out of there. It needed a new gear, the little plastic gear that goes in there, because it's got the weirdo, it's got two wiper blades, but the one on the driver's side does the weird deal where it draws an M on the window, which is pretty cool, but it had the little plastic gear in there that articulates it was broken, so I put all that stuff back in there, and then it's loosely kind of set back in there for when somebody comes and puts a I don't know if you can see the crack in it, but I busted that windshield up pretty good. It kind of needed one anyway. It was all scratched up. The guy before me didn't change the blades like he's supposed to, and they, you know, wore through and scratched the hell out of the windshield. But I got this car for absolutely nothing, so anything I do to it's just gonna bring it back from, you know, being dead, basically. If you can see some more of the interior, I'll do better shots. I'm just in here working on it right now. I'm gonna make a little series out of this. I just want this one to be kind of a get started, you know, kind of show you what I'm working with. I don't know, I guess we can kind of go from there. But I did want to dive in and make a video before I kind of got everything done. I'm going to start doing more videos where I'll when I tear into something, I'll set this thing up on a little gimbal or a tripod or something, and where you guys can kind of hang out with me, and I'll show you how I do things. I've been a wrench for most of my life, so I've done it professionally for 25 years. I mean, all of 20, you know, and then some of it on my own, and of course all the side work and everything. I've done this as a hobby and a job for my whole life. And I like hot rods. 67 C10 400 small block. It was set up for an 1/8 mile. Now it's just a cruiser. But yeah, I like to mess around with stuff, and I buy them cheap, fix them, and keep them. That's kind of how I do it. I shop around and get the ones I want, but I really kind of wanted one of these cars for a long time, and it took a long time to get it. I finally found one. I wanted black on black, and I wanted a 500, and here it is. I bought it right before I went back to school during COVID, and of course it sat in the garage for about 6 months while I acquired some parts. I got a little parts table over here where I got, you know, water pump and fluids and some pulleys and fuel filter and stuff down here, transmission flush, gaskets for everything, for oil pan and transmission pan and filter and all that kind of, just doing the basics and putting good fluids and good parts back in it, because I know that these things will basically go forever if you take good care of them. And somebody was kind of taking care of it, but it was getting neglected. It was just that they didn't have the experience to do all of it. And so my buddy that took me over there kind of asked me, or took me over to pick it up, was like, what the hell are you doing buying this thing? And I was like, man, I always kind of wanted one, and it was in pretty crappy shape. I was like, you wait till I get this thing done, and then tell me tell me if I'm crazy or not. And he had a saying that he said on the when I was right before I brought the thing home that my dad loves, and that was that you don't need this car, man. This car needs you. I think he was right about that. So I'm more than halfway back together with it. I just liked everything about it. I like the chrome wheels that are on it, even though I want to put the other ones on it. But it's black on black 500. It's a 97, so it's kind of past the whole wiring harness issues that they had with the disintegrating wiring harnesses in the early 90s. I think it was 95 or just after that where they kind of got their stuff together and did that. So this is 97. It's the, I'm pretty sure that's the Princess Diana year. So, but not exactly sure. But I mean, you know, I come from small block Chevys, and to have something in the garage that's dual overhead cam, all aluminum, you know, it's just, I mean, it's fantasy stuff. Discs and independent and just, you know, heated bitchin' leather and just every option you could possibly want. You know, they got the double, those weird double sized windows in it that are just like, it's just like the best stereo machine in the world. So I think once I get it all put together how I want, I'm gonna put some stereo stuff in it. Nothing crazy, but probably put some components in it and just kind of replace things that that are worn out or old. Maybe put like a little 8 or something in the back. I don't need to have like a pair of 15s or anything. I don't roll like that anymore. I mean, I'd like to, but I'm not gonna do that. I want to use it for what it is, and you know, use it for the car that it is, and haul people and stuff. Up on top of it is the dash, lower dash, airbags out of it. I got the B pillars out of it because the wrap was coming off of them, so I kind of half-ass glued it back together and let it sit for quite a while. And there's some trims up there that go for the windshield wipers, and but I mean, everything's all here, all the trims, and the glass is all good. I mean, just all the parts, I mean, it's all here. Everything's here. I'll get some more light in here and I'll show you guys what I've done with the center console and stuff. I'm putting it all back to stock. Somebody got in here and just put chrome everything. You know, the chrome covers on the handles and the chrome covers over the over these little pieces. Chrome over the wheel well. The chrome things over the lights. There was like a little, some kind of stick-on little fin that was on it. Chrome cup holders, chrome shift handle, the little surround for the gear selector had some chrome crap on it. And it had the chrome around the headlights thing. There was a, see if I can show you the grill up here. I just put a regular grill in it. It had the one with the big medallion in the middle that was like not factory looking at all. I guess I was trying to look like a newer one. I hated it, so I got rid of everything. I'm putting this car absolutely back to stock. And then maybe a little stereo stuff. I'll definitely probably put a little bit more of a modern radio in it, like a Alpine Halo or something like that will go in it. Definitely tint the windows, not limo style, but legal. You know, 35s on the side, 20 in the back type of deal. I'd like to put the mono blocks on it and go from a 16 to an 18-inch wheel. I'm a little hesitant because I know with the 16s and the fatter tire it's gonna ride better, and I just would rather have it ride and do like it's supposed to. So I'm gonna set it up like this first. It's got brand new Michelins on the front and then like some Chinese tires on the back. So I'm gonna put in a new set of Michelins on the back of it. Yeah, like you can see here on the bumper here, it needs paint work. It's not horrible, you know, rolling down the road, nobody's gonna know the difference, but just kind of stuff I'd like to mess with. And I've done it before, so I've repaired plastic bumpers before. I've got some of the stuff to do. Some of the repairs for them, like the little brake that's over on the other side where it's got some stitches on it, but like all the lower panels, they're all there. Everything's here. Got a bunch of miles on it, 220,000 I think. The car really doesn't show that though. I don't know if it sat inside a bunch or what the deal is, but I mean, it needed everything. It was ready to, somebody was just going to turn it in for, you know, a trade-in, and they'd probably get $1,000 for it and dump it. And I'm like, man, every single thing on this car is worth $1,000. and I gave really nothing for it. So it's just my work and labor and parts and stuff that are going into it to kind of bring it back to normal. And I can't wait to drive the damn thing. I grew up with Chevy trucks. I've always had a C10 or a 1500 small block. That's kind of what I've had for my whole life. And then for some wild reason here about 10 years ago, I bought a Mercedes. It was an 01 CLK 430 silver one, like the it was in the movie Belly. It was I can't remember, I think it was DMX's car. But I've been driving it for 10 years, and I bought it thinking that I would actually, I can roll you through. I'll show it to you. It's just sitting outside and it's filthy. This is it right here. That car. And I bought it 10 years ago with the idea that I didn't know anything about Mercedes, so I was like, it'll probably blow up. But I bought it with the idea that it would blow up. I'd blow the motor up in it, playing with it, and then I could put a turbo LS in it and piss everybody off at the strip by having a Benz with the Chevy in it. Well, I took off driving it, and you know, of course, put some plugs in it and did a once over on it, fluids and everything, and put some tires on it and cleaned it up and got it running and put a battery in it, stuff like that. And the more I drove it, the better it got. And now it's 10 years later, and it drives better now than it did when I bought it.